If this episode resonated, please share it with another mum who might need it. Follow us on socials at Burnout Mamas.
Check out our journey and we will help you to reconnect with yourself again. Please subscribe and download to all our episodes. It helps us a ton and keeps this podcast going.
Thanks.
Bye.
Hello,
Hi,
guys.
Burnout Mamas. We're back again.
Yay. Happy Friday. So we've got an amazing guest on today called Nikki, and she is a breathwork facilitator who works with women in their breath. And this is so exciting. We just spoke to you before, Nikki, didn't we, coming on?
I think it's perfect for our audience because for those suffering burnout, post-menopause, I mean, I think I'm pre-menopause. So we're so excited to get you on just to sort of talk a little bit about what you do, how you got into it.
And working with women with burnout.
Yes,
so,
absolutely. Such a huge topic.
Yeah. So, Nikki, can you tell us a bit about what you do and how you kind of got into it? Because that's really interesting too.
Yeah. So if I start with how I got into it, so if I cut back to probably 6 years ago now, and just to paint a really brief picture, I was a single mum. I've been a single mum since my daughter was 6. I was working in a hectic corporate environment and I was just trying to do everything by myself. And without realizing it, there came a point with my family that my daughter had a mental health crisis, effectively. And that was the point that just really stopped me in my tracks and made me really look at how I was being with her as a parent, and how we were functioning, how that dynamic was functioning, because I was surely contributing to what was going on with her. So it really made me stop and take a really long, deep look at myself and what was going on for me. And without knowing, and I think this is the critical thing, I had just gotten into this pattern of go, 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 go all the time, never really able to switch off. And I just had no idea that I was so dysregulated and suffering from functional burnout, which is what I was later diagnosed with. And so it was through that kind of journey of trying to heal myself to be able to help my daughter that I discovered breathwork. And that's the work that I do now with women, predominantly midlife women, who are suffering with burnout, with anxiety, with menopause and the changes that are going on in the body, grief, because we're coming to that age where we're losing parents and loved ones, and empty nest syndrome, which has happened to me very recently when my daughter moved out. She's now 18. So the breath is such an amazing tool. And the reason that it really worked for me is because, number one, I'm really impatient. So I want to see things that work quickly, and the breath can change your nervous system in a matter of minutes. It is that powerful. And when we talk about the nervous system, and I don't want to get into too much science and I don't want to bore people, but when we talk about the nervous system, the breath is the only thing that you can control. Your nervous system is working for you all the time, but when it gets stuck in patterns of chronic stress, it's always operating from a place of, I'm not safe, I'm overwhelmed, I'm anxious. And so when we feel like that, when the nervous system doesn't feel safe, we tend to breathe in a really fast, shallow way. So with the breath work that I do, I help women come back into the body by deepening and lengthening the breath and showing the body that it's safe to settle, it's safe to relax. And that's when the magic happens. And that's when we can actually release all of this stress and emotion that we've been carrying around for so long, and just let it go and just allow ourselves to just come back to the body, to the breath, to the present moment, rather than being in here and constantly thinking and worrying about the next thing.
I think this will be amazing, Nikki, even for me at the moment, just like listening to it. So obviously since I've got a baby who's just turned 4 months, and for me, I've been suffering so bad anxiety, like waking up, like having really bad dreams. And I've been talking about it quite a lot on the podcast of stuff that my anxiety has become really, really high, but also subconsciously really high rather than
Yeah.
on the outside. So it's been coming at night when I'm dreaming and waking up sweating, like trying to
Yeah.
save people, thinking I'm gonna die, and things like that. So for me, I'm really actually grateful to, number one, meet you today, but I think this would really help me personally.
Resonate with a lot of our listeners, because
Yeah.
what mum or what I think when you get, I said this to my friend the other day, I was like, as I'm getting older each year, I'm finding my life getting more stressful, and I felt like it should be easier, and I was like, why is it getting harder every year? And I'm feeling like my anxiety kicking back in from my 20s that I managed to heal from and do things, but I think it's the more responsibility I'm taking on, and I need to hear something like this again to
Yeah.
take myself back and understand how to take control of it again.
And when I read actually what I was going through, it said it was my nervous system. So and it's where I had the baby, your nervous system goes into basically a bit of a shock.
Yeah.
So that I think I completely relate to straight away is calming that nervous system. So, it's amazing. So can you tell us like what it actually does, to your
Yeah.
body when you do this?
Yeah, and I think just to touch on a few points that you've mentioned there that are really important to talk about. As women, and particularly as mums, we are constantly giving out, we're constantly caring for other people. And I don't think that we truly appreciate just how much of an impact that has on us over a period of years. Because once you have that baby is with you for however long. In my case, my daughter has just moved out at 18, but even still, 18 years of caring for another human being on top of everything else that we do, looking after the home. We've all probably got jobs that we do as well, and there's the extended family and the dynamics that are going on there with aging parents, etc. And a lot of that emotional load sits with women, and we are getting better at talking about this stuff, but inherently it still falls down to the woman to be that nurturer, that emotional provider. And we get lost in that. We lose ourselves, unless we're doing regular different practices to be able to connect. So I think that's the first thing. I think that as women, we have this inherent gene or whatever it is that causes us to always want to make sure everyone else is okay before we are. And then the second thing, I think, with the breath, so when you're talking about that accumulated stress and it creeps up on you really, really slowly, and I think this is what I'm trying to articulate, is that because we are carers and providers for other people, we don't necessarily notice the impact that is having on a day-to-day basis, because we're having these conversations, whether it's in the school playground with other mums, whether it's with our kind of friendship groups, and everyone's kind of feeling the same. So it's normalized. And if we're not careful, as it happened in my case, you just take on too much, and it never stops. And you don't know how to hit that pause button, and sometimes you don't have any other option. You have to keep going. In my case, I was a single mum. There was no one else to take care of my daughter. So it's when you get into those chronic patterns of stress that your nervous system is almost on high alert all the time. So coming back to your point around anxiety is a symptom of your body never feeling safe enough to switch off. And that could be for a whole host of reasons. That could be trauma from childhood that we've long forgotten and we've buried. That could be something that happened last week that you weren't able to process and deal with in the moment. Or it could be absolutely anything. It's very individual to each person. But what the breath does is to, over time, this isn't a magic kind of wand that we just do once and then it's all fixed. What the breath teaches the nervous system to do is to come back to a regulated state. So that's not saying that we will never have stressful reactions again once we kind of get familiar with breathwork and how it functions. But what it does teach you is how to recover from those stressful moments much, much quicker than we might have done in the past. Does that help?
Yeah, amazing.
That
because
so
I
think
sense. That's why our breath is given to us. It serves a purpose of keeping us alive, but it also serves a purpose of regulating the body.
Yeah.
And I think, like, I always bring myself back to caveman times. Like, women didn't have the stress of job. Our alert was actually just keeping our children safe, and the man would be, the hunters and things like that. And it always brings me back to that moment of thinking, what were they doing caveman time? But we've got a lot of stress on our shoulders as women to carry now, especially if you've got children as well, and having a household and bills and the stress of being able to live and things like that. So
the expectations are a lot higher as well. Everybody's going away on holiday, everybody's got the latest gadgets. It wasn't what it was like in the 60s, 70s. Everybody's more materialistic, and with the social media, everyone's comparing, so you're constantly striving for this perfect life.
I think on the plus side of that, though, is we are really quickly realizing the science behind our own bodies. So I think, like, actually knowing what our breath's doing, being able to quickly bring that tool in when we're feeling them, like times of anxiety or overload or burnout. So I think it's amazing. Can you, like, tell us what the breath actually does to your body, like what the science behind it, in a way? I'm really interested.
So I'll take you through towards the end. I'll take you through a particular technique that is really good for anxiety, actually, so we can practice that one. But what I do in private sessions, I use a technique called conscious connected breath. So it's a continual breath movement. So you are continually inhaling, exhaling in a really gentle way, but you are also inhaling deep into the belly. So we're not inhaling and exhaling from the chest, we're inhaling deep into the belly. And as we get into that rhythm, that's sending a really powerful signal, as I've mentioned before, that the nervous system and the body can just relax. It can just exhale, and you get out of the mind. So the mind is not your friend when you're suffering with stress or anxiety, because it's the mind that keeps looping, that keeps you in that state. So with the breath, we're able to almost interrupt that. So it acts like a breaker with the mind, and you come out of that and you come into the safety of your body. And all of those emotions, whether it's anxiety, whether it's grief, whether it's anger, all of those emotions that we've not allowed ourselves to feel for whatever reason, they can start to surface. And again, in a really gentle way. So this is not talking therapy. We don't have to revisit something traumatic that happened 25 years ago. We just sit with it. We allow the breath to do what it does, and the energy and the emotion can just move on through. So it's magical.
Amazing.
Well, this has just brought a thought up. When people are on antidepressants because of their anxiety, it obviously suppresses the emotion. So sometimes when they come off them, they feel this surge of anxiety and feel like they need to go on them again. So is this something that would probably really benefit people that are potentially coming off antidepressants? Or
potentially, I mean, I'm not a doctor, so they would absolutely need to get that advice from their GP, but you're absolutely right in what you've said. So antidepressants numb, they just numb everything. So when you do come off them, everything almost seems even more heightened and even more kind of intense. So breath work for sure would be a tool that would be able to just bring you back out of that intensity in a really, really gentle way. And the key thing with breath work, and the technique that I'll share with you in a while, is to try and bake it into your day. So to try and find times, whether it's 3, 4, 5 times a day, you only need 90 seconds, 2 minutes. So when you're making a cup of tea, just close your eyes, put your hands on your body and breathe whilst that kettle is boiling. Whenever you can find those little moments, those micro moments, it's the repetitiveness of using the breath and practicing the technique, whichever technique works for you. There are hundreds. It's the repetitiveness that then shows your body, as soon as you start going into the next breath, I can just relax now. Everything is fine. Everything is calm. So it's over time, and you build up that practice, and you will find that you just go into it super, super fast, and you probably won't need the 90 seconds. You'll be able to regulate in a much shorter time frame.
Yeah, that's amazing, because your mind does take over, doesn't it? And it's your mind, it puts your body into that fight or flight.
Yep.
Which actually, funny enough, when I had reflexology the other week, that she said you're in complete fight or flight mode, because my one of my glands in my body, she could feel through my feet. And I was like, I have been. And actually, at the end of the reflexology, I just cried, because I felt I was holding on so much.
It's probably what causes insomnia,
everything. So yeah, I think like breathing is such a big tool that people don't realize they've got. It's
we just take it for granted, right? It's just yeah.
And how has it helped you? Like, you know, when you first started it, what was your journey like? What made you aware of it, and how did it help you overcome stuff?
Yeah, so it really showed me, as I mentioned, I've really resonated with it. I have tried pretty much, I would say, every modality out there. I am a firm believer in holistic wellness. I don't necessarily buy into take a pill for something, because our bodies are so intelligent. And if there's something wrong, and that could be an illness, it could be a pain, it could be anything that's debilitating, it's just the body trying to communicate to you, you need to listen. I am trying to tell you something is out of balance. Please listen to me. So I'm a massive believer in that. And I found breath work through meditation, actually. So I was I've never been able to meditate. I've never been able to quieten this long enough to be able to meditate. And I was very fortunate. I went away to study to be a yoga teacher in Bali. This was about 2 years ago. And I spent a month in Bali. And every single morning we meditated for an hour. And what I discovered through that teaching is that the roots of yoga, it's breath work. So it's called pranayama in yogic terms. But, you know, like you were talking about the cavemen, the ancient yogis, these breathwork techniques have been around for thousands and thousands of years, and we've just forgotten them. So it was that almost resurrected that desire to continue with the breathwork. And then I trained as a breathwork facilitator afterwards. And it still continues to this day. I still will go through breathwork journeys myself if I know that there's something bubbling up that I just want to release. Because I don't want to carry that around. I don't want to be anything other than, you know, happy and enjoying my life. And if I look at the person I was 6 years ago compared to the person I am today, they're just like unrecognizable. And, you know, I still have, don't get me wrong, I still have my down days and I still have my bad days, as we all do. But now I've got tools to go to that I know that they work quickly. So for me, it's just, yeah, it's amazing.
Amazing. No, it's so interesting.
It is. And we forget it because we're given tools throughout our whole life.
Yeah.
And it's so good to revisit this, especially as mums. I mean,
it's free. It's in our body.
Yeah.
I know.
So before you said you were in a corporate job, what did you used to do?
I used to run huge teams of people in banks, in big healthcare companies, managing their recruitment for them. So it was very, very time pressured, very time sensitive, huge demands coming from the client, huge demands coming from the business I worked for. So yeah, very, very hectic.
What made you make that change into what you're doing now? Obviously, you're running your own business and you've written a book.
Yeah, so I think it was just that journey, you know, the crisis with my daughter, which kind of put me on this path. And then it was, I think, 2 years after that, that we decided to relocate and we moved down here. So we were living further up the country, and my husband and I just both quit our jobs on the same day, and we were like, no, we have to do this. You know, if we're serious about what we're talking about, and if we want to be taken seriously by other people, we have to do this. So we both quit 3 years ago now, and I set up my business, he set up his, and yeah, we're kind of going from strength to strength.
Congratulations to you, because it's such a big step to even do something like that, and very scary. And especially you, in your head, you've also got your subconscious going, is it going to work, is it not? So what an amazing thing to do. So congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Sometimes in your head, our last episode that we've just recorded was about finding yourself again and your identity as a mum, and obviously probably a lot of your identity was tied to the high corporate job that you did, and then readjusting your identity now to doing something completely different. That's hard in itself as well, isn't it?
It is, and it's also, just for anyone, I think your audience are probably a lot younger than I am, but for anybody that is about to go through that empty nest kind of period, it is real, and I never thought that I would react the way that I did, but it is real, and you do go through that almost grieving process, because you're right, your identity has just been so tied into caring for this other human being. And suddenly they don't need you in the same way. They've got their own friendship groups and their own people to rely on and support them. And you're kind of sitting there going, feeling redundant and kind of going, what do I do now? And it's also been really liberating, because I've now got the time to be able to really go for the things that I want to do. So there's definite kind of ups and downs that go with it.
I feel like throughout the whole of motherhood, though, or throughout your life, you grieve different parts. So you might grieve a relationship. I think I grieved the part of the baby stage, going to school and having like new liberation to start new things. And I don't think it's just women that are feeling these things. Like when you said your partner quit his job on the same time, is he doing something similar?
Yeah, so he's very much advocating men's mental health. So he is trying to get men to open up and talk and support other men through their journey.
I think that is, I mean, that's a different topic as well, but I think that a lot of that comes out in them drinking, anger, it causes addiction, marital problems, which affect the mums that come and listen to this as well. I know a lot of people that are going through struggles in the relationship, and their partners are struggling, I think, mentally, but they've just not accepted it. And it's a universal thing, I think, where life is putting a lot more pressure on us financially as well. So it's really interesting and sort of on topic at the moment. So thanks for coming on.
Can you go through with us and the audience some breath work and
yes, of course,
understand it?
Of course. So I will set a timer for about 2 minutes. Amazing. So that's all we need, 2 minutes. So all I want you to do is just to, if you feel comfortable, to close your eyes, hand on your chest and a hand on the lower belly, and the part of your belly that we all try and hold in all the time, just let it go, just let it soften. And just kind of, before we start, just becoming aware of the chair you're sitting on, becoming aware of your breath as it moves in and out through the nostrils. And all we're going to be doing is something called the extended exhale. So this is a really nice, gentle way to calm everything down. It's great for anxiety. So when we start, I want you to inhale and almost push that hand that you've got on your lower belly. So just the hand on your chest tells you if you're breathing into your chest or not. And the aim is to try and breathe down into the belly. So just taking a nice slow inhale in through the nose for a count of 4. And then through pursed lips, exhaling for a count of 6 or 8. Really slowly out through the mouth, as though you're blowing through a straw. And inhaling again for a count of 4. And exhaling slowly through pursed lips, letting it all go, letting everything melt. And again, inhaling. And letting it go. And just 2 more in your own time. Putting your awareness on the breath. Just knowing that in this moment, absolutely safe. And when you've finished, just opening your eyes gently and coming back into the room.
Oh, I feel really relaxed. You know, for that moment, everything is still, isn't it, really?
So still.
Because you're so focused on your breath. And I think that's the amazing tool for meditation. Is
for massage now.
everything, yeah. I think everything just is still. It does quietens
everything.
I can't even say it. I've fallen asleep. Quietens. I can say, God's going to
quietens down.
Quietens down your mind and everything. I don't think I just thought about anything then in that.
Don't do that when you're driving.
2 minutes? That was
2 minutes.
I didn't even realise that was 2 minutes.
It's crazy, right?
I felt like there was 10 seconds in my head.
Right.
Yeah, that's amazing. Do you know what? When we used to sing, like at college and stuff, we always had to use the breathing through our belly, not like our chest.
That's true.
So it was bringing it back, like, because you forget when you're breathing, like, you know. And actually, I did feel my first breaths were quite a little bit. I could feel
shallow
anxiety in my breath. And funnily enough, towards the last one, I really was listening to it. It felt a little bit like I didn't want to let go.
Yeah.
So it's amazing when you really, really do listen to your body. I think our bodies are such an amazing tool, and there is so much science behind it that I feel like a lot of people are more opening up to that now.
Exactly. It's not just woo woo. It is actually science backed.
And I think
it works.
We need to, as humans, we need to pull onto these
tools. Get back to your soul again.
Yeah,
exactly.
Pull onto these tools.
So with your sessions that you do, so if someone was to, do you run sessions? How does your business work? Do people call you?
So I either run in person or online because it works exactly the same. So typically it's an hour session and we will just get super, super clear with someone. What is the block? What is it that you want to release or focus on? So we work on that probably for about the first 10 minutes to get really, really crystal clear. And then I take them through the breathwork journey. So just as I have with you, it's typically eyes closed, you lay down, and I guide you through everything. That normally takes about 30 to 40 minutes. And then afterwards, we just have a period of time to integrate, maybe journal in terms of what came through, what wisdom, what insights, what learning that the client received. And then I'll check in with them, obviously 24, 48 hours afterwards, sometimes give them breathwork techniques if they've got a particular something going on. And and that's it.
What a great job.
And what's your website that people can come to you if they would like to book a session?
Yeah, it's returntoradiance.co.uk, and there's a whole section on there of FAQs, because I think when you say breathwork, people are kind of like, what do you mean breathwork? So there's loads and loads of questions that I typically get asked that I've put on the website. So hopefully, if anyone's curious, the question has been answered on there.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you
so
much.
Relaxed now.
Yeah, I feel really relaxed. I hope everyone listening feels really relaxed, ready for the weekend.
I can face my email. It's that in itself. When I look at my phone lately, I'm like, what now?
Yeah.
And that is a great time when I was talking about these micro moments. If you know something is stressing you out, before you do it, just give yourself literally a minute and a half. Just do some breathing before you look at the emails, before you check the phone.
I like the fact that you did that timer, because I actually didn't even feel that was 2 minutes. In my head, that felt like it was 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So yeah, amazing. And it like literally just takes 2 minutes to calm your nervous
so
system
quick.
down. Very
So
cool.
quick.
I love it. What was your socials, Nikki?
So it's all Return to Radiance. So Return to Radiance Official is Instagram, and just Return to Radiance on Facebook.
Were you running a retreat that you wanted to speak about as
well?
Yeah,
so we're running our first retreat at the beautiful Truly Centre. I don't know if either of you have been there. It's just up in the South Downs from Shoreham, and so you've got these amazing views out across the Downs and the sea. It's gorgeous, and it's a 4-hour Valentine's Day mini retreat. So come and have a date with a bit of a difference, whether you come on your own or if you come with a loved one. It's all about connecting back to you, connecting to the heart. So it's 4 hours of just time for you. So we're doing some breathing, we're doing some somatic movement. We've got cacao, so we have a beautiful cup of cacao to open the afternoon. So yeah, come along, 14th of Feb.
Lovely.
Sounds amazing.
Lovely. We'll be there.
Try and be there.
Amazing.
Nikki,
thank you so much for coming.
No, thank you.
Thank you. And yeah, thank you for your time. And I hope this works for all us mamas out there who are burnt out and, want this skill to take with you everywhere.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much, both.
Thank you, Nikki.
If you're loving the show, don't forget to download our latest episodes. It helps us a ton by boosting the show and making sure more people find us.
Plus, you can listen anytime, anywhere, even offline.
And while you're at it, make sure to follow us on Spotify so you never miss a new drop.
Want even more behind-the-scenes content? Follow us on Instagram, YouTube and TikTok at Burnout Mamas, one word, for exclusive clips, updates and fun extras.
Hit that follow button, send us a message, and let's keep the Burnout Mamas community going.